All right, everybody, welcome to the Pennymon Doctrine Podcast. Thank you for listening. I, of course, am your host, John J1 Pennymon, and today I have the co-host with me. Unfortunately, we can't do Facebook Live, but today we do have the trusty rusty co-hosts. We have Molly McIntyre.
Wait, what happened to my Madam President?
Madam President. I'm not doing that anymore. We have Madam President of the Pennymon Podcast Network, Molly McIntyre.
Hello.
What's going on, Molly? How are you?
Living the dream.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And new host, if you will, but not a stranger to the show. We have great mind, great human being. Talker extraordinaire from my point of view. I love conversations with this guy. We got Eddie Umana, new co-host. How are you, my friend?
Very good. And just to let the folks know, I come from the Iron Tulips podcast, and I record with 3 other Manchester United fans. We like to talk about soccer, but we also like to talk about how soccer relates to other aspects that we care about, especially in the social realm.
That's what's up, and it's a very great show. It's hard for me to kind of get into and kind of listen to because I'm a Manchester City fan, but me and Eddie will have those soccer/football arguments here and there once in a while. But before we get into a little bit more from Eddie, because he is new host, so we want everybody to kind of get introduced to him and everything. Since Molly wasn't here last week and wasn't able to talk about what she was doing during the hiatus, I figured we give Molly a few minutes to let everybody know how she's doing, that she's alive, and I didn't eat her, and I didn't I don't know, something ridiculous or crazy. So what was up with you, Mom?
I'm alive.
Hey!
No, nothing too exciting. I ended up getting a job that really has been good for our family. I've been doing what I can to get healthy, and I've shed, what do they call that, a stone? Is 20 pounds a stone?
I'm not sure what.
I don't know, but I'm down 20 pounds so far, which makes me really happy. And chasing around Lucy Pepper, who is the craziest kid you've ever met in your life. And yeah, that's about it.
So for me, there was a very, very pointed, specific reason why I felt that myself personally, but us as a whole.
And I started another podcast, but I'm not sure where that's going.
Okay, I mean that works.
About that.
That works. What I was going to say is, I had a very pointed reason why I thought that I, and by proxy we, needed to go on hiatus. Did you have any of that, or were you just...
I think, honestly, between having Lucy as a 1-year-old and really, so when I met John, I hadn't watched the news in 4 years. So coming back into the world of news and current events can be a lot when you're not used to it, I guess. And I think it's like a combination of being, a full-time mom and, taking care of responsibilities, and, it was just, like, I was burnt out. Like, I was mentally just really, really burnt out, and I just needed to just silence. I have enough on my plate, and, even more so, I think that we knew that we really needed to fix things. And I apologize to our audience who's been with us for a long time, because it's obvious that I was falling off track a little bit there at the end, and it wasn't my intention, but I think it's going to be better than ever. So it'll pay off.
Video-wise, I see you breaking up a little bit. Eddie, were you able to hear everything that she was saying?
It was loud and clear for me.
Okay, I think the video is chopped up because the way that we have this kind of queued up here, we share a microphone, but her video may have been a little messed up. She was using her 4G instead of Wi-Fi, so apologize about that. We got some live things going down. We don't have a TV studio, obviously, so there are some things that maybe quirky on the video end. On the audio end, no issues whatsoever. But yeah, I feel you, Mal. And I was burnt out too. And but I'm glad that we have a new way of going about things. And I think that we'll finally, now that all three of us are here, that'll play out in today's broadcast. So I'm glad you're back.
I'm really glad I'm back too, and not to be interrupting right now, but your sister just called, so I need to call her.
Okay.
So I need your phone.
My
and
phone?
I will be back. Yeah.
My phone is charging.
That's fine. Let me forget it. Sorry, everyone. I'll remember to say.
Oh yeah. Show that button. Yeah.
No.
So now that we got Molly out of the way, just joking. Right. You know, I gotta get my little digs in from time to time. So Eddie, I want to know about you, man, and you know, give us a little rundown on Eddie and what you're about, and you know, and let everybody know who you are, so we can make you an official part of the family. I mean, you are an official part of the family, but
Yeah.
you know, in terms of the broadcast.
A little
Go
bit.
ahead.
I didn't know if you had any question, but
Oh no.
okay, cool. A little bit about me. So I come from. I was born in Southern Illinois, and but the thing is that a bit of my story is my parents came here to the States from Nigeria, and so growing up for me in this country has been a very interesting experience because I've come from a culture that is extremely direct, and it's like growing up, like whether it was just like in school, in churches, like all this kind of stuff. Like I was in environments where people like to like communicate in a lot of different ways and direct, right? And so basically where I'm trying to go with this is like I've had to try and learn that like I can't prioritize like the way that I communicate over the way other people communicate, because the way they communicate is the way they communicate, right? And so I think this has played a huge part in me trying to learn more and more about myself and learn more and more about people, because I really enjoy connecting with people. And to me, I realized it's no point to let my communication style, you know, supersede me trying to connect with people. So my journey has basically been a way of trying to traverse conflicts and tensions that arise from like just like any situation I find myself in, or that someone else finds themselves in with me, and learning to embrace that and try and turn it into something beautiful. So yeah, man, this is very interesting because I feel like this played into a lot of different things that I see in my life now, and I'm very grateful.
That's what's up, bro. And you know, there, like I had mentioned, for those who are checking this out, especially if you're new, from last week, is that there was more people that I had you know, offered to be able to be co-hosts with us. And the reason being is that the conversations that we have had are conversations that are the type of conversations that I would like to have broadcast. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that Molly can't do those things. No. We've you know, we're almost on episode 200, and then when you add all the right, exactly. When you add all of the 0.5 shows and extra things that we've done, we're way over the 200s, right? So obviously Molly and I have chemistry, but there was a specific thing that I was missing in the conversation that I knew that
translator.
You and the other guy that I reached out with we would be able to have on a consistent basis, and that is what I was looking for the Pennymon Doctrine. So I'm glad that if I couldn't get both of you, which I wasn't able to get one, that I could at least get one, and we do have Eddie, and I am so excited. I almost just want to just like skip to what we need to be talking about, but I have some little quirky things to get through here. But yeah, Eddie, man, I'm really excited where this is gonna go. I'm glad that you're here, and yeah, and I look forward to this season in the British Premier League, so we can tit for tat every week about that.
I gotta say something about that real quick.
Go ahead.
So I was talking about this with basically on our podcast, but it was off air. How we think like this will probably be one of the most exciting Premier League seasons, because not just because of Pep, not just because of Mourinho, not just because of Conte, but you know how it is where before you go into something, there's just like a lot of anticipative energy.
Yeah.
And this season has that more than any other season I think any of us have like experienced in a very long time. And I think, if we go with the conservation of energy, the energy's got to go somewhere, right? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you out there that aren't soccer fans, that's fine. You probably won't understand that part of the conversation that we would have, but it's a great game, beautiful game as they call it, and he's a little more well versed than I am. Like you're probably a lifelong soccer fan, right? I'm new to the game. I'm like 4 years in.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been playing since I was in 6th grade, so.
Well, you were playing since you were in 6th grade, but how good were you though?
I was good. I got promoted to the team above me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was good. And I went and played at military school, and our coach played in one of the Brazil World Cups in the 80s.
Oh, that's cool.
I forget his name. It'd be cool to know his name. He was really nice.
Yeah, especially considering that it's the Olympics right now.
Yeah, kind of a big deal,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, that actually went a lot faster and a lot smoother than I expected. So that's good. So, if anybody has any other questions for Eddie, or if you wanted Eddie to expound on anything about himself, or expound on something that you want to hear from him on, go ahead, shoot us an email at thepennymondoctrine@gmail.com. Or you can hit him up on Twitter personally, right? Eddie, what's your info you got there?
So yeah, this is a very recent change, and I'm glad you went to me on this, because if you had asked me about a week ago, it would have been different. So, I guess I have to find a way to the easiest way to put it out. But my new Twitter handle, so it's pronounced Eddie Kaikong. It's basically a soup, a Nigerian soup. So the way that's spelled is EDIA KAI KONG.
Okay, and that's Twitter, right?
It's Twitter.
Okay.
So we can find a way to better advertise that, because I know if I just pronounce it, folks are going to be lost.
We'll put it in the show notes for sure.
All right.
Yeah, it'll definitely be in the show
We'll get it
notes.
out there.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
And what kind of soup is that? Because I'm really hungry, and I would like to know what kind of soup that is.
I would have to ask folks like all the stuff that goes into the soup, because
It's a party soup.
It's quite
Party
involved.
soup. Party soup.
No. It can be used for anything.
Super party soup.
Yeah, so I was about to say, is this like a
Surprise
like a
party
mutant?
soup.
mutant, demigod type of soup.
Like Mary Poppins?
Is this the Avengers of soup?
It's the
I don't know.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious of soup.
Y'all are thinking too American for this, so I don't really have a good answer.
Yeah, because our brains are clouded with Trump. So that's neither here nor there.
Well, yeah, that's I'm American, dog. I don't have to think. I don't have to.
But you're brown.
Worry about anyone else's cultures.
I forgot. Me and John aren't in the same room.
No, we are in the same room. That's why I'm turning and looking at you right now. Oh my God. Now let's look at your camera while you're doing that.
No.
Weird. Yeah, sorry, we American. I
wasn't making fun of
America trolled your soup.
I'm just real hungry.
Oh, but we're about to go to a nice Japanese restaurant for your birthday. That was on Tuesday.
It was.
She is
23.
How old?
23.
So yeah, Molly's 32,000 years old.
23.
She's older. She's older than Lucy. Isn't it that how old is Lucy?
1.
No, not that Lucy.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Eddie?
The first human.
The first human. The one.
I don't be keeping track of those type of things.
I
think she's like.
I think it's like 9,000.
Yeah, she's pretty old.
But Molly's 32,000, so I don't know how she's been able to keep her girlish.
I'm the fountain
figure and
girlish figure.
Yeah.
You just got brownie points.
Hooray for me! Huzzah!
Okay. All right, carry on.
All right. Well, we are going to break into the headlines real quick, and we can't break into the headlines without the headline music. So. Sorry, YouTube, you can't hear the headline music. I'm working on that, all right? Leave me alone. Anyway, so...
Who took care of that?
So, in the great state of Missouri, since the state has defunded the public defense system, as far as public defenders go, the public defenders of the state have assigned cases to the governor. You're from Missouri, or you've lived in Missouri, right, Eddie?
Yeah.
You may not know specifically about this, but your governor, the governor over there, is a pretty piece of work, and this just adds to the ridiculousness of his administration, if I must say.
Yeah, so if you're asking me what my input is here, I'm just going to say one thing. Hashtag the jig is up.
Boom. There you go. That's all you. That's
headline covered.
Eddie, breaking the breaking news or breaking the headlines or whatever.
Yeah.
Maul, what do you think about the state of Missouri defunding their court public defender system?
I mean, it really. 1, it doesn't make any sense, and 2, isn't that defeating the entire purpose of having public defenders?
Yes, I would say. I would say so.
To me, that sounds like a big old fat setup, but
And the thing that I hear all the time is like, oh, he's a Democrat. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your political party is. A stupid fucking idea. Stupid.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
So next up, we have so the Obama administration is under hot water because when was it? Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday, or maybe it was Thursday. No, it was Thursday. Or maybe it was. Yeah, it was It was yesterday. The Obama administration. Not only did we receive hostages from Iran, but we also sent them $400 million. And people apparently don't understand what that is. Real quick, spin up on that. So in the 80s, in 1979, Iran had captured some hostages during the Iranian revolution over there, Islamic revolution. And the way that we were able to get those hostages out was we sold them weapons through Israel. But as soon as Congress found out that Ronald Reagan had, pretty much committed treason, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. They stopped the transaction. So we got the money, but they never got the weapons. And it's taken all this time for a tribunal that had been set up to determine that we need to pay them back a sum of about $1.7 billion, and included in that $1.7 billion is this money from the weapons, and the $400 million that the Obama administration sent yesterday was the first payment in that that refund. So no paying for hostages like the conservatives and Fox News are going on about, but that is something that is a headline.
Woohoo! Next.
All right. Yeah. You got anything, Eddie?
Nope. Just been sharing the live stream link with folks.
Oh, look at you doing producer duties. Promoting. Yeah, but that's what producers do. Because that right. So.
Okay.
Molly's like, yeah. Next one, we have knife attack in London. Killed one person, an American, and wounding 5 others. Tragic. Sad loss of life, but it's not a mass loss of life. That guy had a gun. That'd be off the charts, and the whole world would be trying to blow up Somalia, because he is a Norwegian-born Somali heritage young man. So we would have blown up Africa because one person from, I don't know. That's just...
The logic is flawed.
I agree with you on that. Let's see here. Obama commutes 214 federal inmates this week.
Oh, yeah.
Doing his job with the pardoning process. One of those people is Demaryius Thomas, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, grandmother.
Aww.
Last season,
Granny.
Demaryius Thomas had his mother, who was in prison, attend the first game she's ever seen him in.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then, which was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then now Obama has released his grandmother. So shout out to Obama for helping out the Thomas family.
Yeah, that is.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Yo, so apparently Obama's been doing something with like folks' prison sentences, like over 200 or something. Like people's like prison sentences are getting shortened or something like that. Did you read that?
Yes.
I know what I read it's been a few weeks, is that he was for the marijuana criminals. Is that what yeah, because, since, basically shortening sentences due to the fact that it's small crime and we have bigger problems.
Right. There's no reason, basically there's no reason for the long sentences for nonviolent drug offenses, and that's something that Eric Holder and him had been working on while Eric Holder was the Attorney General.
I think it's so awesome.
And that's clearing up some prisons, and then also setting a priority. Maybe they're making room for the cops that are killing people. No.
Oh my God, you're right. No.
Yeah. No. Anyone?
It'd be like Orange is the New Black. It'd be like freaking Judy getting her own. Just okay.
Why are you spoiling things? Don't spoil.
I didn't spoil it. I said a name and then said.
Let's see. The jobs report came out, and we added another 250,000 jobs.
Oh my God, Obama's the worst.
And our unemployment is steady under 5%.
Impeach him.
Which, again, like I mentioned last show, is near full employment economically.
Worst president ever.
So, there's that. And last but not least, the Olympics have begun. So,
I have one more.
Yo, John, so I want to say something real quick.
Yes, sir.
So I think what will be very interesting, I don't know, maybe beyond our lifetimes, but I think one thing will be interesting to see how history writes about Obama, right? Because And maybe they're one of those type of things where, you know, whoever's writing the history be like, hey, we ain't going to let them have this president be the most important president.
There's going to be a quotation that's going to say, he ain't shit.
Right.
Oh, man.
And then I don't say that.
Well, you know what, Eddie? First and foremost, I loved your Southern accent right there.
Yeah, it was pretty perfect.
Even though there is a near family member who was from the Deep South who would like it known that when you make fun of their accent, it offends them.
Right.
But at the same time, this person also understands that it needs to be made fun of sometimes. So one, I want to give you kudos on that. Two, you know what, bro? What was that?
It's all fair game. That's usually what I say.
Right. It is all fair game.
All is fun in love. Wait, all is fair in love and war?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Said it.
Molly got it.
Got it.
But yeah, you know, to add on to your point there, you're right. It will be interesting to see what history says about President Obama. To be honest with you, I think he's going to be drowned out from Hillary. Like I said last week, again, I don't mean to keep saying that, but I'm saying a lot of things that were in connection with last week, so you might want to listen to what happened last week. Hillary is going to win this election by a Hurasuquaka land of mud tsunami slide. It's not even going to be a landslide. It's going to be every natural disaster in one word slide. This is going to be the biggest margin of victory in the history of American politics.
It's going to be like when someone does arson in a house and everything blows up except for the thing that actually started the fire.
Right.
It's going to be Hillary.
That's what's going to happen. So
Eddie, we cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This actually happens a lot in IT. So something happens, people start asking questions, and then there's one person who does the smoke and mirrors, right?
Right.
So we all know.
Nice. I like the visuals.
We all know who the smoke and mirrors is, right?
Yes. In this one? In this example that you're talking about?
Yes, in this election.
In this election, it's Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It's not even smoke and mirrors. He's a
big old pile of poop.
How'd that go?
A big old pile of, I can't say it now.
Oh.
A big old pile of poop.
See, now, for those who aren't really watching live, I am in control of who gets their face on the screen. And since we have a setup here, since Molly and I are so close to each other and we do use two separate mics, we share one mic for Eddie. And since we do that, we have to mute Molly's phone for her picture. So because of that, I'm trying to switch back and forth, so I screwed up right there. And that's why I had you do it again, Molly. I apologize. But yeah, so my point about that is Donald Trump is not running for president of the United States of America. So not only is he smoke and mirrors, if that smoke and mirror was a smoke and mirror of a smoke and mirror of a dream.
Donald Trump is a smoke and mirror and a mirror maze.
Or he just doesn't exist. He's not running for president.
He's
not running for president.
Right, but you know a mirror maze.
Up on this yet?
Because people are stupid, and I think he's just completely trolling all of the people that are following.
Yes, that's why he's there. That's how Hillary gets in, and like if you notice, the Clinton campaign, they haven't been putting in a lot of effort. After they got the nomination, it's it's done.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even though she cheated, or the DNC cheated, let's be technical here. Even though the DNC cheated, and even though basically this whole thing has been not rigged, but pushed in her favor in the first place, I still am going to tell people to if they don't know what to do already, vote for Hillary, because even though she is a lie, cheat, and steal, a thief, she's America's lie, cheat, and thief. And there is no better person. There is no better person to continue things going the way that they are than the personification of America with a vagina, aka Hillary Clinton.
America with a vagina?
Yo, John, you've actually made a very good case for like anyone who would like be on the fence of voting, right? Because what you're basically saying is it doesn't matter if you vote or not, but if you are, you might as well just vote Hillary because,
If you don't vote, it's a vote for Trump, because Trump supporters are not going to pass up.
Well, it's not necessarily a vote for Trump because Trump's not really running for president.
Well, right. But I'm saying, like, in the case that he was, and it was like a legitimate voting thing in that sense.
No, so my argument is that, like, I think we need to be careful about what no voting assumes, right? You either vote or you don't. Like, that's the choice that you have. What it means, I can't tell you that, right?
Well, right. But I'm just saying that I think overall, the right has a much higher voter turnout than the left.
Well, yes, because their demographic is 200 million people.
Well, I know, right. So what I'm saying is
they're always going to show up.
So what I'm saying is
pure numbers.
If you don't vote for Hillary, you're giving the vote to Trump.
And the people that
you know what I mean?
I still think that's not quite true from a numbers perspective. Like, the thing is that, like, because the thing is, from a numbers perspective, like, it comes down to, like, the choices that you have, right? So it's not just Hillary or Trump. Like, that's also, like, whoever else is still on the ticket. But the thing is that people are Trump and Hillary. So that's why I hear what you're saying, Molly. I'm just saying from, like, a numbers perspective, like, it's a little shady.
Well, I agree with you, but yeah, I'm just saying I think people just should vote, even if it's for Trump. Like, just go and exercise your right.
That's why you have that right.
That's right.
And I just wanted people to know. I just wanted people to know that if you look at and that's what last episode was about. If you look at the transition of the parties throughout the years and who they've had to placate to in order to assume power or obtain power, you realize that, especially with the last midterms, and this is what I was trying to get to tell Jill Stein people, is that, like, especially the people that were Bernie for Jill Stein, or that are for Jill Stein, is that, like, look, the Democratic Party is your best shot of getting anything you want done. They have the money, they have the establishment, they already have hundreds of people in office already. They have the templates, they have the foundation, they have everything that you need in order to get what you need done. You just need to not involve yourself with the rigmarole of the minutia.
And you're talking about the leverage piece, right?
And to be honest with you, we're talking about the money and the Wall Street and the things like that. Just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean that you have to be beholden to Wall Street like Hillary Clinton is. Hillary Clinton has known that she wanted to run for president since before Bill ran for president. Let's be honest about this. And so what she has done is made coalitions and made a name for herself and has compromised and has worked with people, and she's very smart, she's very intelligent, she's very savvy in order to be where she's at today, where even though you may not like her because of the things that you've been forced, that been rammed down your throat for the past 25 years, she is the most and best equipped out of the choices that we have to run America the way that it is right this second. So just like Robert Reich was saying, where Hillary Clinton is the best choice for president for the system that we have now, and Bernie Sanders is the best choice of president that we want, that we should have. And so the DNC and the majority of the voters, obviously, because, however you want to say that Bernie was cheated, he still lost in raw numbers. Let's be real about that. Was that due to the coverage, the media coverage? Was that due to whatever it is that was going on in DNC? Yeah, most likely. But, it is what it is. The convention happened. Nomination process is done. Whether you like it or not, these are your choices. She is the most equipped, best qualified, most credentialed almost ever to run the country the way it is now. So stop with all your semantic games about how she's going to kill everybody and she's the worst thing to happen since Adolf Hitler. That's stupid.
I hope that she makes tampons free.
I mean, federally that might happen, but that's more of a.
So Molly, she's gonna have to Molly and Hillary are gonna have to link up somehow and get that working,
Right. I mean, they got it done in the UK.
I mean,
right.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not like we're like, you know what? It's been 3 weeks. You know what I'm feeling like doing? Having my period.
Oh wow, she took the woman card there.
Hey man,
she took it there, folks.
This is the Pennymon Doctrine, right?
It is.
I mean, it's not like we choose it.
Well, even though that lasted a little bit longer than I expected, those are your headlines for the day, or the week, or the month, or the year.
Probably for the week.
Just the week. Just the week. I'm talking over the music, whatever. I don't care. I'm breaking all the faux pas of radio. I don't really care. All right. So today, guys, we got a lot of stuff. Not a lot of stuff. We have a couple conversations that we're going to kind of mix together because these things are sort of connected to each other, but they're not. They're separate issues. So I kind of wanted to dig into them, give them kind of a little bit of their space, as is. But obviously, at least on Black Twitter and Black Facebook and within the Black community.
Mentioning Black Facebook and Black Twitter, do you know for the longest that I thought there was actually Black Twitter? I searched for it. Thinking there was a completely different Twitter that I didn't know about.
First and foremost, I would like to say, I don't remember where am I.
Huh.
No, this one. Wrong. You're wrong on that one.
I know now.
Right. Secondly, I would like to say that I understand where you're coming from because that kind of confused me too. But
wait, I'm confused. What's going on?
Molly had not known that there was.
So you know when people say Black Twitter?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I thought literally there was another website. So there's Twitter.com. I thought there was blacktwitter.com, and I'm like, why can't I find? Do they know that I'm not brown enough? Is it hidden? Using bitcoins, the undercover,
And
totally thought that I was well, maybe I just never heard about that because Black Twitter.
But do you know where the URL is located? This is why you can't. There is a Black Twitter.
There is?
Yeah.
You're fucking.
You can't find it because the URL is encoded in our DNA.
Oh my god, I forever believe that there is really a Black Twitter.
No.
Got him.
How in the science lab, they be looking for stuff. It's we can't find it. Oh, where is it?
Yeah. And now it's in your fucking DNA. This is so unfair.
Yeah. So do you know when
this is not fair.
Do you know when Black people come together and unite on things and annoy the country, there is a Black people meeting, and we all come together, and we decide.
You never go because you never live in front of TV. So I'm telling on you, you don't show up. Excuse me, Black Twitter, for all of you out there, because I don't have your DNA. He doesn't show up to meetings.
I get the newsletters.
Bullshit. He doesn't read good either.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta understand the spectrum. So whether you look like you're in or not, you still in. Because
right, baby. Exactly. You gotta have that melanin in you, and you will be allowed to get things done and know all the info.
Melanin or
not fair. Not fair.
But on all seriousness, what we're talking about is the police shooting of Corrin Gaines and the ridiculousness that's going on around that. And so, I don't really want to rehash the details of the Corrin Gaines thing because if you don't know, you should go look it up. And I don't really want to spend time rehashing the details.
No.
Because they hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
And it's been very painful. and to deal with. And it's not very painful to deal with because like I'm trying to overcompensate for me not knowing some of the other black women that have died within the last week.
Right.
But this one really hurts my heart because, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more to the story that is there right in front of your face that the media is ignoring, the police department is ignoring or covering up, if you will, and all those type of things. And then the biggest thing that gets me, of all, is the son. And I had to watch that video twice. The first time I watched it out of order. I didn't know there was an order. And so I watched it out of order. And when he was, saying his part of the story, it wasn't really making sense because I had seen it.
So what John's talking about is that he was in the hospital and somebody in his family asked him what happened and recorded it in 3 separate videos.
Yeah. 3 separate videos.
So this is the 5-year-old's account, and we know children, for the most part, are some of the most honest and real souls that we could ever deal with. Yes. So I'm going to have to probably take his word at face value.
Yeah.
So go on.
Oh, I meant to have your face on the camera for that. Sorry. I'm really bad at this camera thing.
Whatever.
But anyway, so that really hurt my heart. And I want to approach this conversation in 2 ways. One, I want to address the black women feeling that black men don't support them, number 1. Number 2, I want to address why it is that these police escalations are allowed to exist. And then I want to segue that conversation into whether or not celebrities, not just black celebrities. I'm going to use black celebrities as an example, but whether or not celebrities should have to weigh in on social issues just because they have a platform. And the reason why I reach this out to celebrities as a whole is because I don't want this just to be a black show, even though there's 2 black eyes and a
special Twitter
racial ambiguous woman, who hosts this podcast. This isn't just a black show. This is for everyone. But we're talking about black things we talk about black things from time to time. And so that's going to get in there. But at the same time, I'm also thinking about Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm also thinking about Eva Longoria. I'm also thinking about some of the other, Patricia Arquette.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. So, when it comes to celebrities, there's a lot of things. Raven Simone, there you go. Do they have to weigh in? And when they weigh in, why do we give them such a hard time about their thoughts and opinions? We'll get to that. But first and foremost, I want to put the floor on you, Eddie, on why it is you think black women feel unsupported, and then we'll start the conversation from there and then see where it goes.
Right. So I think this is something where we've got to be very, 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 very careful with, because I think it's a type of thing where if you're not listening, it's going to keep coming up. And
what do you mean if we're not listening? Listening to what?
So what I'm trying to say is that when someone doesn't feel heard, there's a tendency up to a point to repeat what they're saying, right? And it's very, and it creates a disconnect, right? Because the recipient will say, "But I am hearing you." But then it's still getting repeated, right? So then there's this like, what? Like, we said we hearing you.
Right.
I think you see what I'm saying.
It's like, right. So if you don't mind me cutting in, I guess, do you mind me cutting in?
Go.
Go
ahead. Okay. Floor is yours.
So, as a not black woman, but with, I would say,
got the same parts.
I would say that I would say that most of my girlfriends are black, and I've had this conversation with them, several of them, and some are kind of still like, well, you know, some just kind of want to be in denial about the whole thing and not acknowledge it because I think it's very painful. I have a few that are just diehard. They are not on board with supporting the black men that we see in the headlines that are being killed because we are not hearing about the black women in headlines being killed. And on that, I completely understand.
But that's not black men's fault.
So for that, I completely understand. And the problem is that it's not black men who are the ones alerting the media. It's not black men that are the ones that are saying, like, we don't care if black women die. Like, that's not what's happening. The problem is that as women, like, we are more emotionally vocal. So we are quick to, when we feel like there's an injustice, and especially, like, you know, a loved one being killed by police or something like that, the first thing we want to do is go and confront somebody or something and make a really big deal out of it. We grieve very differently, you know? And men, as a collective, tend to channel their grieving process much differently. You know, we might see, you know, on the news the husband or boyfriend or father or uncle or son of, you know, a black woman that dies, and they're completely destroyed. But they don't, the drive, like, there's just not the same drive. We're different. We just do things differently. So I can't tell you, I have, you know, and I always feel bad saying that, like, I have tons of black friends, but, like, legitimately I do. But, like, my black male friends are crushed. Like, it destroys them. They just don't know what to do. And it's kind of in that same sense, like, you know, white people want to be, you know, allies, quote unquote, and that's not really the word that wants to be used now. I forget the word.
They're trying to change the word.
Oh my God. I'm just making sure that I'm being.
Topic for another day.
Right, yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm just basically proving the point that I understand what's going on.
Right.
So, and that is the problem, that the verbiage that people want to use can make it a little difficult. The entire idea of Black Lives Matter hashtag, you know, being used for what it is now, primarily because what we see in the news for black men dying, even though that hashtag was created for black women, and I think a little bit it feels like, you know, that hashtag was created for black women, and not that it was stolen for black men at all. It wasn't stolen, but it became used a lot when we saw Mike Brown.
Right.
Because Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And I think, you know, I understand how, you know, I could see why black women are frustrated with black men, but I think we kind of have to sit and really remember that women and men are so different, and we shouldn't expect, you know, we should expect every single human on this planet to be standing up for the people that are being killed unjustly, all of them, and that's not going to happen. It's just not. Like, people pick their battles, and they pick whose team they're on. And there's nothing we can do about that. So even though I completely understand, we don't hear about most of the black women killed by police. We don't hear about it. It doesn't make it to the news. Why doesn't it make it? I would love to know why it doesn't make it to the news. Like, what person behind the scenes for media is like, oh, good story.
See,
I'm not going to use that one. And that's terrible.
That's the part where I can understand where black women are frustrated, but then at the same time, all right, so let me put it to you like this. Friend of the show, podcaster, reaction provocateur himself, Gil Lowry of the Honest Truth podcast, his big issue with this Corn Gaines situation was why she put the child in danger. And he can't co-sign and sit there 100% support, you know, her innocence, which I don't understand why anybody would think that. Like, you weren't innocent, Corn. Like, that's not why we're supporting you. And I think that's what the thing about this is. Like, people don't understand the narratives. So let's So let me break it down to you like this. When it came to Mike Brown, whether or not Mike Brown reached into the car to grab the gun, which doesn't even seem likely at all based off of the evidence, based off of the maps, based off of all the stuff that the media and everybody had public access to before the calling of the grand jury saying that there was not going to be a trial or anything like that. The New York Times, if I'm not mistaken, and it still probably is available, has all the evidence. Oops, I hit the microphone. Has all the evidence available. And I will tell you this: that evidence contradicts all the fucking media narratives.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do we respond to live listener feedback?
We can do that. What do we got?
Because I have a comment that just came to my phone.
Sure.
Yeah. Do it.
What do we got?
I will just read part of it. This is why. Hold on, no. This is exactly how you alienate your base. Put a gender on a general hashtag. This is why black men get tired of black women. They don't love us. They're just stuck with us, and they let us know that.
I mean, that's deep.
And I can't deny. I
That's real
cannot
deep.
deny that person feels that way. I
Yeah.
can't
Not at all.
at all.
And to an extent, I'll agree with you, because first and foremost, we have the studies shown that black women and Asian men are the least desired partners when it comes to like online dating and things like that. So even though they did the study for online dating, let's apply that to society. I'm pretty sure it mirrors closely to what society chose.
Right. The only difference is that it's just the online form, right?
Exactly. Number one. Number two, the idea of the black family and the person that's going to keep the black family going genetically is the black woman, and how important other African cultures view black women, that is encoded in our DNA, even though we are hundreds of years removed from our actual ancestry. The maternal power that women have just in general, and that they should have in all societies, but how that kind of gets bastardized in the Western kind of Caucasian culture that we have, because their culture, if you look through all their histories and anthropology, women are not necessarily second rate, but because they can't do for the most part, can't do the physical rigorous things of back in the day, they are put on a lower stake in Western Caucasian type cultures or whatnot. So that gets kind of put into American culture, and then when you add the black American, there's just a lot of like genetic and cultural just confusion. So I said all that to say this. If Black Lives, and I've gathered this from the creators of the Black Lives Matter hashtag. I've gathered this from a lot of media that I've gotten into, and especially including social media that I get into when it comes to black women, and they're not happy about what they perceive, how they view black men. And I understand your frustration.
Wait. We gotta be careful. Right. So this is something that you guys know who Sarah Kenzie is.
That sounds familiar, but no.
She's a writer that's like been covering Trump. Probably one of the best writers.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Has been superbly precise. So I had a discussion with her on Twitter about Trump, and I also had a discussion with one of my friends about Trump, and basically the story is this: there are definitely a certain amount of women who don't like Trump not because of what Trump is doing, but because they recognize the game.
What do you mean by that? What game are they recognizing?
The game that he's playing.
Oh, the troll? The ringer?
The guy is playing the game of basically having it both ways.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's men in America.
But that's the thing, is that as Trump as a white male and all that he's doing, I'm saying, like, they recognize that game because, you know, that game is something that gets played by certain, you know, I can't say all women, but, you know, some, right? Because what the point I'm trying to get at is, why is it that people can't stay away from Trump, right? And it's and the magnetism is the fact that Trump is merely a reflection of the ugliness of America and the ugliness of America that is within ourselves, right? And the problem is that people don't know what to do with it, and Trump gets put everywhere on the media, and folks just don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. Oh,
I don't mean to cut you off. But this point just blew up in my head. In that same aspect that you're talking about Trump, that's the way that I feel that not only our society, not only women in general, I take that back. In our society, the different racial breakdowns, but then when it comes to women, and then especially black women, they have that same thing when it comes to black men. Now, hear me out though. So what I can't stand about the feminist movement is that whenever they make their inarticulate point about men, I'm not allowed to say I don't do that. I'm not allowed to say, well, that's not me. It's not all men. I don't treat you like that. I don't say those things. I don't do this. I don't do that. And you're not allowed to say that.
Because that's the same thing with white people, though.
Right.
Sure, I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is it's unfair.
But John, that's the point they're making, right? Is that if you take it on the basis of power dynamics, once you say I understand and keep talking, you're reinforcing the point.
Yes and no. What I'm trying to make the point of is it's hard for me.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because that's what white people do. They like.
Yes, that is what they do.
That you will have white people who will, when you're trying to explain the power dynamics, they'll be like, they will do exactly what you say, whether they do it in their words or through their actions. They'll be like, yes and no, and then it just keeps building, right? And that's what they're getting.
So, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that you have to get to a point where you have to be able to say, okay, we already understand what your issue is. You've raised quite a bit of awareness of your situation. Let's move on to the next step and get this worked on. And so when I'm sitting here saying that I personally, and we're going to have pretty soon, the next 2 weeks, maybe even next show, I don't know, we'll see. We got to talk about some topic stuff going on here. But in the next few weeks, I'm going to have a friend of mine who is a comrade. I don't know the term. I don't want to use the wrong term, but that's even bullshit. But we have a friend who wants to be an ally and is doing everything she possibly can in her within her family, with raising her child, with the interactions that she has with her friends, with interactions she has with the public, to do every little tiny thing that she is supposed to do as a white woman to dismantle white supremacy from her individual micro area. And even when she messes up, she will take the lick. You can yell at me, you can scream, you can call me a bitch, you can call me a honky. I'm sorry, I just want to do what I got to do. But that's not fair. That's not fair to those people. They're doing the best that they can.
That's the whole point, is that fairness is no longer part of the equation.
Fairness isn't a part of the equation because the enemy isn't the individual people within the shit. One of the biggest things that I can't stand about social justice warriors or social justice fighting social justice is that like it's all rooted in like who I can attack to get like power and momentum right now, instead of focusing on the origin. It's always attacking the symptom. Yes, as a man, there are things that I don't know that I do and say on a daily basis that makes women feel uncomfortable, that does this, that does that, blah, blah. I understand those things, and I apologize for those things when I catch them. I try to change. In the past few years, I've tried to change the way that I talk, try to change the way that I do things. That's what I can do for my part. But I am not the enemy. The issue itself is the enemy. So I understand that the issue is hard to deal with.
But that's what he's saying.
But that's the thing is that, like, so yes, you're not the enemy.
You might be okay.
But the thing is that, so a lot of what happens is that you're not necessarily the enemy, but they're looking at your words as sort of a continual reminder of what the enemy is doing, right? And so one of the things that I've had to learn, because I like to communicate with people, is understand like that if I say something and they get upset, they're not necessarily, it's not necessarily about me, right? Because I said something, they reacted to it, but the thing is that if someone else said the same thing and they're reacting to it, is it about me? Do you see what I'm saying?
Maybe not.
Right.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is that when we talk about the word trigger, for example, like people have their different triggers, right? So the thing is that that's why people be like, oh, wow, like how are you so calm, right? Because I've learned that like if I'm not like I still make mistakes with this, but I try to be calm because when someone is trying to turn up the heat, I realize if I want to connect with them, I can't turn up the heat with them. Why?
Right.
Because we're playing into the same problem, and then it's just going to break down. Exactly.
So my question is, especially with this Corn Gaines situation, is the thing that indoctrinated me to the situation as a whole, because I knew that there was a shooting, within the Baltimore County Police Department, and people were talking about it. But the thing that really got me to pay attention is that from my specific, I don't want to say social justice warriors, because they're just people out there that just want, things to change. But they would be considered social justice warriors, I guess, if you will. Black women. They're attacking black men as a whole, like, why aren't you supporting her? Why is it that we can come to your, situation when you're hurting and not ask you any questions, but as soon as something happens on our end, you got to have all the facts, you got to have all the information, blah, 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 blah. Well, my thing about that is I understand where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from completely. I just think that when it comes to the Corn Gaines situation, again, I came into the game like maybe a few hours late, actually maybe even a day late. There had been the videos out there. There had been, people going through her social media and seeing these things. And what they saw was this loud black woman talking all this kind of crazy stuff to the police, number one. Number two, you didn't see that with Sterling. You didn't see that with Castro. We don't have video clips of Mike Brown. You didn't see that with Tamir Rice. And no, hold on. No, I'm not saying that is the reason why she should have been shot. I'm not, by no means. I think that the death of the almost 600 people that have died in the police by police hands in the United States of America is completely unacceptable. Nearly all of them. I don't give a shit what they did or what they said, for the most part. Not every single one, but I'm being a little hyperbolic to make my point. I'm saying that she should not have died. But what I'm trying to explain is, for the black women that are upset and are lashing out at the black men that have this, that, and the third, blah, 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 they have those same questions about Sterling. And they have those same issues. They have the same problem with Castro. They do. You see this, and you call them coons, and you say this, and blah, 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 blah. But when it happens to you and to someone that you can relate to, now all of a sudden all black men are doing this horrible thing to you, and it's not all black men. It's a specific set that are going to sit there and look at the videos of Corn Gaines and be like, Well, she didn't have to act like that way. And you know what? To make a valid argument, you're correct. She shouldn't have acted that way. That gave her some put a target on her back. Pause. That's where it ends. Everything else that happened after that shit is on the police hands. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how irate Corn got. It doesn't matter how disrespectful Corn got. It doesn't matter how many shells she was loading into her shotgun, and based off of a plethora of news stories out there, it doesn't matter how many shots she would have rang out of police that weren't even hurt, mind you. No one got hurt. No injuries. The only people that got hurt were her and her child. So please tell me where the imminent danger was where she needed to be shot. Now, beforehand, we can have that debate, okay? And that's the issue that I don't, that's the reason why I'm talking about this in this manner, is that for Gil, his thing was, I can't co-sign, one, I can't say she's innocent because of the child. Go ahead, my bad.
The reason I'm cutting you off is because I don't want people to lose the important point that you made, but you didn't realize you were making it.
What point was that?
You basically, in your roundabout way, you just described the mirroring effect that goes between black men and black women. You basically summed up why there's the disconnect. And Molly did too, actually, now that I think about it. But y'all did it in two different ways, right? Molly approached it from an emotional basis. You approached it from a logical basis. Now, the thing is that the mirroring effect doesn't care for the mode of communication. All that it cares about is that there's a communication. And the communication here is that there's a disconnect on understanding, as in there's a disconnect on love. And as long as you have that, you will always, as long as you have a lack of that, you will always have conflict. And that is what you just both of you summed up.
Right. And you know, to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of that goes into it as well. It's one of those situations where this takes me back to the Ray Rice days when Molly and I got into a lot of hot water because we made the accurate prediction months ahead of what was going to happen to Ray Rice and how the whole Ray Rice situation was. But the thing that I noticed, and there was an episode of a podcast that I no longer listen to, nor do I want to give them spotlight or shine, but had a female guest on that made this point. And this clued me into a lot of how I see reactions and the reason why, in one hand, I can say I am a feminist, but in terms of like policy, right? So I'm not saying I'm a feminist like, no. If you're going to ask me if I'm pro-choice or pro-life, I'm going to tell you I'm pro-choice, even though personally in my own being, you know what I'm saying, if you do the crime, you do the time, you take care of that life. That's how I say it. But politically, you should have the choice, right? Sure. So when it comes to feminism, right, I understand the overall benefit and necessity of feminism. But me as a man, I literally can't be a feminist. I don't like when men say that they're feminists. That's stupid. But anyway, regardless of that, I'm saying that to say this, that I understand the trauma that you may be feeling. But when you say, I hope Ray Rice goes down because of the situation that I had to deal with that went unresolved, pause, you've now invalidated any other point, any other statement that you're ever going to make about this situation.
I missed the part before the invalidation. What's up?
Oh, I was saying that, you know, the reason why I want Ray Rice to go down is because of the situation that I dealt with. That, you know, a trauma and pain that I had. So when this woman saw this Ray Rice video on a loop over and over and over again, she's getting mad at Ray Rice for what Pookie Johnson did 5 years ago. Pookie Johnson's not Ray Rice. You are not Janae. If you have unresolved issues with Pookie Johnson, you need to resolve them with Pookie Johnson. Don't then put that on Ray Rice, who did everything that he was supposed to do legally, financially, money-wise, with his employer, everything that he was supposed to do to be in the NFL today. Can't get on an NFL team. Meanwhile, you had Ray McDonald from the 49ers had to breach his restraining order, second restraining order that he got, in order for him to get kicked off the team. What's the difference? McDonald was a piece of shit, got to stay on because there's no whole elevator video. Ray Rice doesn't get to stay on this elevator video, even though his wife is like, look, we talked about it. We knew that there was mistakes made. We got over it. This is our marriage. This is our life. But the overall arching thing was, this is what I was hearing, I'm so sick of these black men condoning what Ray Rice did because he's a football player and this, that, and the third, or whatever. And so I looked into, and I was just watching at this time. This is before the Rachel Dolezal thing where I felt that I had to say something. So I'm looking at this at the time, and I'm looking at the comments and this and that. And so when somebody destroyed their whole argument, the point was, well, this happened to me, and I don't want that to happen to anybody else. It's not happening to Janae. Janae got her justice. Janae got the justice that she was looking for. Her family. You see what I'm saying? So just because we have questions on what Corin was doing doesn't mean that we don't support the fact that she should not be dead. And so I think that what we're doing is we're arguing 17 different things. Black women are saying, why aren't you no question supporting Corin? Then you got people like Gil that are like, she shouldn't have had to die, but what she was, she was being disrespectful. And his main point is you put the kid in danger. Then you're going to have white people that are like, well, if you would have just went in, to the police department, then we would have had none of this. Then you got people that are like, yeah, but she had been fighting this police department. Stop. Here's the point. The point is she should not be dead. Pause. Stop. That is the bottom line.
Right. And if anyone wants to make an additional point, you have now changed the whole context of this whole conversation.
Exactly.
That is what people
and
are
so because
right. Yes.
Exactly.
And so when black men do that, that doesn't mean that we hate black women. It doesn't mean that, we don't support black women. We all agree for the most part. And then you have those people that are like not defending the police department, but knowing that the police department is going to shoot your ass, and they have these rules and regulations that allow that to happen. So if you escalate a situation to the point where you get to the point where they are allowed to, then you can't really complain. Like, you have those people too. But even within those people, they say, for the most part, well, yeah, I know. Well, she shouldn't have had to die, but it was a clean shoot, from a legal standpoint. You can have that argument. You can have that argument. But at the end of the day, everybody needs to know and understand Corin Gaines should not have died, number one. Number two, the fact that the police shot her child who ran out of a closet shows you their mentality and shows you what the problem is that we're having in our society. Meanwhile, you have a guy just the day after in Virginia having a real mental breakdown, suicidal breakdown, who actually shot at cops with the intent to kill, missed completely, not only has patience given to him for 7 hours, not only has medical treatment given to him after the 7 hours, but was robot-controlled robot, a cell phone, in order to communicate with the dude. So you want to get some understanding from the guy that just shot at you? Well, why didn't you give any understanding to Corin Gaines, who has real reason to be upset with you per some stuff that's coming out that happened in March with the police department?
Per the record of black people being killed unjustly by police.
Exactly.
She had a reason to be ready to shoot.
So, I wanted to talk about the celebrity type of thing. So I think we should do like a lightning round.
Exactly.
And
lightning round and sign off.
Right. I think because I realize the different roles that we play in this podcast, and it's really cool. So for me to just kind of chime in, the reason I'm chiming in is because I think I realize there's a key thing here that I want people to understand from what you're saying, because you say a lot of things, and I realize like I'm able to take in what you say and just get the theme of what you're saying real quick.
I told you, he's the translator.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the mono.
You're the translator.
John translator.
No, so
And Molly.
yeah.
The bridge.
And Molly's the bridge.
Bridge Terabithia. Okay, go on.
Great book.
So basically, what
Go ahead, bro.
I'm being quiet.
what John is saying is that we got to be real about the double standards that we play into.
Mm-hmm.
And we all do it.
We all
Every
do
single one of us play into some sort of double standard, no matter whether we realize it or not. We just really need to decide what
we're going to do about it.
what to do and like which side we need to kind of, you know, instead of 50-50, we need one to be 51-49.
So, you know, getting all these thoughts and ideas out there, and knowing that there are so many different parts and aspects that people are arguing on, that we all need to come to a thing where it's like, and this is what I said on one of my favorite contributors to a podcast. That my logical thought process on this Corn Gaines thing is this. Number one, should she have died?
No, I thought we did this.
I know, and then I'm segueing.
Okay.
And number two is if there is any other way that this situation could have been resolved on an infinite galactic level. Could there have been a way that this would have been resolved without her dying? If you can answer yes to any of those, or I'm sorry, the first question is she a human being? If you can answer yes to those two questions, that yes, she's a human being, and yes, there probably was something that could have been done where she shouldn't have had to die, anything else that you have to say about her death is bullshit. You feel me?
Exactly.
I know. So that's where the conversation needs to be, the common ground there. She's a human, and there was something that could have been done. Anything else is separate. So
Right.
you can't say that black men don't support when most of all the black men that I know, for the most part, especially when you break it down to them, even if they agree that it was a clean shoot, quote unquote, they will say, well, you know, there probably could have been something that could have been done that she didn't have to die. Exactly my point. So with all that said, we're going to do a lightning round here. I want to know from you guys, we'll start off with Molly, whether celebrities, and then I guess a quick, you know, second question is black celebrities, should they have to weigh in on social issues? Shoot.
I'm going to just group that answer into celebrities because my answer is the same for all.
Okay.
I think every human that exists should use whatever platform they have to, you know, move forward towards equality on all levels. I think that would be ideal. Is that going to happen? It's not. It's definitely not. But as far as celebrities go, like, I understand that they have a platform, and I understand that that gives power. But on the same note, that's not their job. And we can be mad at them for not, you know, speaking. I know for a long time people were mad at LeBron because they were saying if, you know, he should just not play basketball until, you know, someone makes a difference for Black lives.
Oh, the boycott.
And I see how that could be very powerful. It could be. But LeBron is trying to make progress in other ways to empower his community and, you know, be a good role model for his children. And if LeBron were just to basically protest, quote unquote, it's literally just keeping in a standstill. Like, protesting is protesting, whether you're shutting down a major highway or you're shutting down a basketball game. Like, we've done that. We're doing that. You know, and celebrities do things in different ways. You know, and it's frustrating because it's like, you know, it's like saying, I have a Ferrari. Okay, great. You need to be at every Ferrari race that is out there because not everyone has a Ferrari. So if you have one, you definitely need to be at this race. But, like, that's not what I got it for.
Right.
I got it because I want to take my wife somewhere nice, or I want, you know, take my son. You know, Like, whatever. It would be great if celebrities would do that, but do they have to? No. No, they don't. Black, white, Asian, I don't care. I hope you're a good person, celebrity, but you didn't become an actor, actress, singer, designer. You know, you did it for whatever reason. I just hope that you're a good enough person that you're doing something in the background to make it better. But, yeah, no.
What say you, Eddie?
Well, I have to say, first of all, before I even get to my points, I've really enjoyed this.
Oh, yeah. This was great.
Me too.
Ran a little longer than we expected, but we did have a longer beginning.
I hope our audience has enjoyed it also. I mean, we will continue, I'm sure, to get better.
Yes.
So my first point regarding the question about celebrities, because I will break it up in terms of celebrities and black celebrities. So for celebrities in general, I'm basically with Molly, right? It's like, yo, don't like what gives? Why are we trying to? I think the issue is there is an insecurity that the people who are asking celebrities to do something are not addressing. Because the question is, why do you need them to do it? And the problem is, if they do it, you will find some issue with how they do it.
Patricia, okay. I'm sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
Exactly.
So why do you want them to do it? So one of the things that our audience isn't aware of, but Molly and I really understand, is we like to talk about the universal laws, right? One of them is the law of polarity. And the one here for celebrities in general is the polarity of want and do not want. So people want celebrities to talk so bad that they don't want them to talk, but they don't realize that. So because they don't realize that, they don't recognize the cycle. Because they don't recognize the cycle, they don't know how to break out of it, and so on and so forth, right? So in a way, this podcast is here because, in a way, we've all been going through this in terms of recognizing the cycles that we play into. And we're saying, yo, look, folks, we made it, you can make it too. So, and we're still working through stuff, because that's how it goes. Always. So, for black celebrities, the point here that I'm trying to make, which it is out of the general one, but the point here I'm trying to make is building off of what Molly said about, black celebrities didn't sign up on this. One. Number two, something John and I discussed earlier this week was, which also builds on Molly's point, is the fact that, you gotta let people do what they're doing because you have no idea what they're doing. So there's an article that was sent to me in this group chat that I'm in. It was not sent to me, sorry, sent to the group. And it was about Michael Jordan and what he does with his business. And a lot of people have been complaining about, Michael Jordan needs to speak out more. And the article talked about how basically Michael Jordan speaks out by giving people at his company, definitely a good amount of them black people, leadership positions, right? And it's just like, when you see someone who's black, is in the business industry, and is promoting blackness, what more do you want him to say? What more needs to be said? Because he's speaking through his actions. Yet you are here wanting him to speak words so that you somehow feel better about the situation. That, to me, that's a huge irresponsibility. And I'm not going to say the words it needs to stop. It's just we got to get more aware of what we're doing, and then decide where we're going to go from there. Because every action.
We need to accept and evolve.
What's up?
Accept and evolve.
Yeah, and like with that acceptance and evolve, like a recognition that as much as you accept and evolve, you will have to do so again, right? So it no end until there's an end, right? That's the whole thing
It's
with
like
like there's an end to a means, right?
and
Like
it's
when
like,
people,
sorry. I was gonna say it's like a ball of Play-Doh, right? Like you think you're making like a cute little teddy bear, and like you get halfway in and you're like, you know what? I think it should be an elephant, and you're still dealing with the same ball of Play-Doh, but you've decided that you're gonna give it another form. So it's just constantly trying to figure out what it is that you're trying to build, and accepting the fact that there might be problems, but you're gonna get there.
And then along the lines of Michael Jordan, I guess my 2 cents is the thing that got me to think about this topic, even though we're kind of doing it quick, but I mean, I guess it really is a quick thing. That's why we're doing the Corn Gain stuff, because that one's deep. But is I saw that article about Michael Jordan, and I know the history, for the most part, some of the history of some of the comments that he has made about things throughout the years. And then I also read an article about Tyrese calling out DJ Khaled, Future, and Jay-Z, because DJ Khaled just came out with his new, ensemble compilation CD with all the big rappers in the game or whatever. And, he's like, oh, you can make a video, but I don't see you out here in these streets, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff like that. The part about this that really irritates me, and this irritates me on a Democrat, Republican level. This irritates me on a black-white level. This irritates me on a male-female level. This irritates me like all these different levels that everybody wants to complain about, right? Jay-Z, Raven Simone, give me some black people. Isaiah Washington,
Bow
Wow, Tyrese, Michael Jordan, who was
Jesse Smollett.
Jesse Smollett, Jesse Williams, Don Lemon. Stop making. Okay, I'm not going to say stop. Could you please lower the amount of times that you make these people demagogues and think that because you listen to them or watch them or a patron of their art or service or whatever, that they think exactly the same as you. Just because you think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time and could have never did any wrong when he played for the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan is a fucking asshole. He's always been an asshole. Nobody likes Michael Jordan. His friends don't even fucking like Michael Jordan. Nobody likes Michael Jordan. You like Michael Jordan because of the way his shoes make you feel and the teams that he played on when he played on basketball. Michael Jordan has never been equipped for the media. Michael Jordan wasn't equipped in the media when he was in the league.
Even his Hanes commercials, he's like so monotone.
Yeah, nobody likes Michael Jordan.
Check out my
Michael Jordan shits on kids at his camp. And y'all take it because it's Michael Jordan. So what did you expect Michael Jordan to say? This is a guy that's notoriously known for being a piece of shit husband, gambling, smoking cigars in the middle of the season. Like, that's smart, right? Punching his own teammates. Like, Michael Jordan is not a nice character. So, of course, one of the most polarizing, sports conversation person is going to have a polarizing social agenda because he is not the person that you make him out to be.
right?
Therefore, you shouldn't put so much clout on what it is that they have to say about things. Michael Jordan went the middle of the road route. You want to know why Michael Jordan went the middle of the road route? Because do you really know who buys his shoes? Do you really want to know who buys his shoes? White people. Michael Jordan can't say Black Lives Matter because all of his money will be gone. You think it's just niggas out here buying Jordans? No. He gets his money from white people. Do you know where rappers get their album sales from? White people.
And I think a big part of why, we want to see celebrities and people standing up for the issues, But, again, because Eddie says universal laws, and all of a sudden I'm back and like, oh, rocks. But the only thing that we have control of is our own response and our own reactions.
Right.
We have no control over anyone else's thought processes. whatever.
I
We
was
have
just
no
saying
control
thought
over
process.
those. We have no control over, actions of other people. The best thing that we can do to help is channel our responses and reactions, whether it is through, verbalizing them, taking it to a board, trying to, get someone to help write a bill, that's what we have control of. But sitting home in front of the TV, like just waiting with your popcorn, like someone's about to stand up for the issue.
Oh, Ja Rule, Ja! Please, Ja! Tell me how I should feel about 9/11, Ja! Like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because they
That's
had
actually a
Fox
great
News had
example.
Ja Rule
That's
on.
a great example.
Exactly. Nobody gives a fuck about what Ja Rule thinks. Nobody gives a fuck about what Ja Rule's got to say about the presidential election. So why the fuck? Sorry, I'm breaking my own rule at the end of the show. Why the fuck do we want to have Ja Rule's opinion? Like, who is Ja Rule in 2016? Now, if this was Ja Rule in 2003, okay, I understand what you're talking about. You have him on, you bring him in, see what he's got to say. But this is Ja Rule 2016. This is a convict, a dude that was in prison for a long-ass time over some dumb shit. Like, stop it. I'm like, lower the amount of times that you do this, okay? Now, all that said, you have your Jesse Williams, right?
Yeah.
You have your Amanda Sandberg. Go ahead.
On another podcast, I think we need because if we're really gonna try and break things down and then build it up again, like we're gonna have to go deep, right? And I think
we do.
A lot of people love Jesse Williams, and I would love to talk about how he is almost too good, and it's not his fault. I don't blame him, but I think it's just the fact of what people want from him and what they look for him to do. And I think there is some knock-on effects from what he does that I don't blame him for because he's just doing him. But I'm definitely looking at people's reactions and being like, what is going on here?
And that's exactly my point at the end. That was I'm glad that you said that because, I mean, I was just going to name off more celebrities and make my point. But my point was, even with Jesse Williams, that man can talk the talk and he feels it. And he's there, and he's with it, and and he uses that platform. Not everybody is at Jesse Williams' level. Right. Therefore, you should not sit there and say that just because there's somebody that I admire, that I want them to be on my side, force them to say something. And then when they do say something, because they're forced to say something, you're probably going to be surprised on what they think. Why? Because they're an individual and they're not you and you're not them. So let them do them.
Huh. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Let them do them.
So to wrap
when it comes to the world.
So to wrap this all up, what I think we've really hit on here, which is even bigger than like the law of polarity of want and do not want, is the polarity between consistency and inconsistency. And right now, we as a country, well, for a very long time actually, since our inception, America has been inconsistent. But that's a whole nother thing. But I think it's just now we're in a time of polarized inconsistency, and that is a level of tension that is something
bang bang. That's what it is.
Incredible.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, nigga. What's that from?
Oh my god. Probably the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
No, it's from How High or something like that.
No, not How High.
But he's right though. I feel
right.
And you know what, folks? That's why Eddie's here. That's why we had him.
And we're gonna end the show on that note.
Yeah, I was gonna say. And thank you, sir, for joining us today and the subsequent conversations that we will have. For the viewers on YouTube, thank you for being patient with us and dealing with my horrible moving camera skills. I'll work on that. We'll work out a situation here. Shout out to the the people that are going to hear this on the podcast. Thank you for being patient with us. I saw your numbers from last week. It was pretty impressive for not being around for 6 months and then just be like, boom, July 29th, here I am, bitches. So thank you for that. But this has been real. This has been deep. If you guys have anything else that you want to add, anything else that you want to comment on, if you disagree with us, especially if you disagree with us, I love those the most. Hit us up on the email, thepennymondoctrine@gmail.com. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/thepennymondoctrine. You can follow us on Twitter. I am TPD Podcast on Twitter.
I am Molly of TPD on Twitter.
And what do you got, Eddie?
For what? Sorry.
Your Twitter.
Oh, yeah, at Eddie Kai Kong, and we'll sort that out later for the spelling.
That shit will be on the show notes, so you don't have to worry about like, wait, I gotta type this nigga name Eddie. What? It's gonna be, it'll be on the show notes. It'll be there. It'll be there. But yeah, this has been great. This has been real. Molly and I have dinner reservations.
Yeah, we're half hour late.
And we're a little late, so we're gonna dip out. But it's been real, and I love you guys. And so if you are listening on the podcast, you can hear this outro music. If not, I'm just gonna end the YouTube stream. But no,
I'm not. I'm just getting ready.
That music is
John,
bomb.
relax. Just
I made this.
The button.
Okay. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.